Mark the date, guys, because this is the week Chuck Schumer's career officially flatlined. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're witnessing right now is the single biggest political implosion since Hillary Clinton blamed Russia for losing an election. But only this time, it's not just one man that's going down. It is the entire Democrat machine catching fire from within. Because here's the truth, folks. Schumer thought that he could just play chicken with Donald J. Trump over the shutdown. He thought a few speeches, a few CNN headlines, and a few taglines, hashtags would make America forget who's really in charge. But instead, Trump flipped the script again. So while Schumer's party was tearing itself apart at the Senate, Trump walked out. He walked right out in front of the cameras and dropped a $2,000 tariff dividend bombshell straight in the heart of Washington. No committees, no bureaucrats, just direct relief for working class Americans. And overnight, the entire political landscape changed. Look, the Democrats came out of this shutdown empty-handed, humiliated, and divided. 8 of their own senators defected. Their own media allies are turning on them. And inside of their own ranks, a civil war is exploding. AOC and the radicals sharpening their knives while the establishment runs for cover. I mean, this isn't just a bad week for Chuck Schumer. This is his political obituary, guys, written live in real time while President Trump rallies millions with the boldest populist plan in decades. So grab a coffee, popcorn, whatever you'd like to snack on, because I'm about to share with you guys something that isn't just politics. This is clearly a power shift. President Trump won the shutdown. He won the headlines, and now he's winning the people. Hit the like button and subscribe. Folks, what just happened in Washington is nothing short of political suicide, and Chuck Schumer lit the match himself. Just 2 days ago, Democrats were bragging on CNN about momentum after their local election wins, smiling, clapping, celebrating as if they had finally turned the corner. But within just 48 hours, that confidence turned into chaos. Schumer's so-called shutdown strategy collapsed faster than Kamala Harris's approval ratings, leaving the entire Democratic Party humiliated. And so the shutdown that was supposed to be weakening Trump ended up strengthening him beyond anything the Beltway expected. Meanwhile, Schumer, he got nothing. No funding, no leverage, no political win. He came up empty-handed. Trump came out looking like the only adult in the room, and he completely controlled the optics. He controlled the budget narrative, and then he walked away more popular than ever before. Even Democrat leaders, they can't deny it anymore. Look, Gavin Newsom, he called it an unmitigated disaster. Bernie Sanders called it a political fiasco. And the liberal think tanks, well, let's just say that they're panicking behind closed doors. They already know Schumer gambled big and he lost everything. So what we're seeing right now, it's not just a bad headline. It's way more than that. This is the unraveling of a political empire that's been running on arrogance and wishful thinking for years. So the Democrats thought that they could play hardball with Trump, but instead they walked into a buzzsaw. Now, here's where it gets even more brutal, because it wasn't Trump who finished Schumer. It was his own party. Check this out. So late Sunday night, 8 Senate Democrats broke ranks and they voted with Republicans to end the shutdown. 8 of them, guys. That's not a vote. That is a mutiny. That is a neon sign flashing no confidence in their own leader. So the names are already circulating through D.C. like wildfire, and the reaction from Democrat insiders is volcanic. Progressive activists are calling the defectors traitors. Schumer's establishment allies are accusing him of losing control, and the media, well, they're struggling to find words to describe what looks like a political execution on live TV. Now, Schumer is now caught between 2 very, very angry mobs. You got the radicals who think he's too weak, and the moderates who think he's too reckless. His shutdown backfired so badly that it turned into a leadership crisis overnight. So what we're witnessing right here is more than dysfunction. This is collapse. It is a full implosion inside the Democratic Party. You know, watching Washington collapse under its own bad planning kind of reminds me of something else that I'm seeing happen every single day. Retirees getting blindsided left and right because their Medicare coverage suddenly changes. Well, your Medicare plan might work today, but what about next year? Networks change, benefits vanish, and premiums rise. Millions of retirees are getting a message from their doctor saying, we will no longer accept your insurance next year. Call Chapter to get your new coverage. This is why I partner with Chapter, folks. They're future-proof. They will future-proof your Medicare coverage so that you're protected for what's coming next. Now, one of our viewers, she said, Chapter made sure I won't get caught off guard again. Now, let me ask you, are you ready for tomorrow? Or are you still just hoping that yesterday's plan is going to still hold up? Well, most people, they're already dialing that number on the bottom of your screen. Phone number is 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. I'll left a link for you down below. And of course, it's totally free service for the Ron Yates community. Oh, and don't just take my word for it, guys. Listen to what real viewers have to say. So James Wework, he said, "Thank you, Ron. I used Chapter again yesterday, and they helped me out quite a bit. Good outfit. Appreciate your time and your words." And Valero said, "I called Chapter and they did help me get cash back." I love it, guys. It's smart planning, not panic. That's what keeps you protected. And this is why I always trust Chapter. And so just when the dust was settling from the Schumer disaster, President Donald J. Trump walks out and detonates a political nuke. He announces the $2,000 tariff dividend plan. This is a direct payment to working class Americans funded entirely by tariff revenue. No new taxes, no endless bureaucracy, no begging Congress for permission, just America first in action. Now, this wasn't just a policy drop. This was a strategic ambush. Trump flipped the national conversation from shutdown chaos to economic relief in one move. One move, guys. So while Democrats were fighting over who sold out who, Trump was talking straight to the people, offering cash back from the tariffs that he imposed on countries that have been bleeding us dry for decades. And let me tell you something. This announcement hit Washington like an earthquake. Republicans rallied behind it. Independents loved it. Even Democrat voters were saying, "Hey, wait a second. Why didn't our side think of that?" Yep, that's right, guys. So this is the power of political instinct. So while Schumer's party plays identity games and backroom blame, Trump speaks in plain English about results. The man just redefined the term stimulus, not by printing money, but by using America's leverage to reward Americans. That, my friends, is exactly why this president owns the headlines, the crowd energy, and the momentum. And you could practically smell the panic coming from the newsrooms of CNN and MSNBC, because here's the problem. The liberal media, they had spent weeks building up Schumer as the voice of reason during the shutdown, of course. Then Trump comes out, announces $2,000 checks for the people, and the media's whole script goes up in smoke. Suddenly, every network panel turned into a therapy session. You had Larry Sabato, admitting that Democrats misread the room, Gavin Newsom calling it a setback, Bernie Sanders nearly shouting on air that it was a gift to Trump. And the late night hosts, they tried to laugh it off, but you could see it in their eyes. The jokes fell flat because the punchline was them. They can't spin it. They can't hide it. Trump took a shutdown designed to destroy him and turned it into a populist victory story. Now, CNN's meltdown is America's entertainment at this point. I mean, look, let's get to the root of it, because this wasn't just a bad decision from Schumer. This was a symptom of a party tearing itself apart. I mean, the Democratic Civil War has officially gone public. On the one side, you've got establishment fossils like Schumer, Pelosi's leftovers, Biden's holdovers, clinging to whatever's left of the old machine. But on the other side, the radicals, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and the Squad, who think that the only way forward is to burn the system down and rebuild it in their own image. And guess what, guys? The radicals are winning. Polling out of New York shows Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would crush Schumer in a 2028 primary by double digits. The man's terrified of her. I mean, he's literally scared of this woman. And so their entire upper tier of the Democratic Party is terrified of her. She's young, media savvy, and ruthless. And she's dragging the party farther and farther left every single day. So when Schumer rolled the dice on the shutdown, it wasn't about principle. It was about self-preservation. He thought if he just looked tough on Trump, that he would survive AOC's shadow. But instead, he triggered open rebellion. So this isn't just disunity. This is political cannibalism. And it's just getting started. So let's go ahead and dig into how all of this backfired, because Schumer's fear of AOC, it didn't just cost him credibility. It cost him his entire career. You guys remember earlier this year, progressive groups literally protested outside of Schumer's home in Brooklyn, holding signs calling him a traitor to the movement. They promised to primary him if he ever compromised with Republicans again. Well, that moment branded him for life. So when the shutdown opportunity came, Schumer panicked. He saw it as a way to prove his loyalty to the radicals, to show that he could stand up to Trump. But instead of hurting Trump, he hurt every Democrat sitting in the chamber with him. 8 senators jumped ship. 8 senators jumped ship. I mean, this is unheard of. Donors froze their funding. His approval ratings nosedive. And here's the poetic irony. The man who just tried to save his career by acting strong just handed his enemies the weapon to destroy him. He tried to out-Trump Trump, and he lost spectacularly. Every crash feels the same. First, there's denial, then there's panic, then there's regret. But the few who prepare early always come out ahead. This is why I partnered with Noble Gold Investments, because they help people prepare before the next uh-oh moment hits. They show you how to add physical gold and silver to your retirement plan, real assets that hold value no matter what the stock market does. Now, most people who take the time to learn, they say the same thing. That just makes sense. And this is why most people are calling right now. The phone number on the bottom of your screen at 877-646-5347, or they're visiting RonYatesGold.com to get their free wealth protection kit, because the next market correction isn't a question of if, it's when. And when it comes, you'll either have protection or you'll have an excuse. Now, here's the thing. The rebellion didn't stop with Schumer. Oh, no, this was the first domino to fall. In fact, now we're watching a full-scale revolt spread across Democratic leadership like wildfire. A radical New York City councilman has already announced a primary challenge against House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is being undermined by her own lieutenant governor, and activist David Hogg, you guys remember him, David Hogg, says that he's pouring millions into primary campaigns targeting moderate Democrats who won't bow to the far left agenda. Now, this isn't rumor. This is clearly rebellion. Every Democrat in leadership is now facing the same threat that Schumer did, which is betray the radicals and they'll destroy you. The establishment is cornered and they know it. They can't control their base. They can't agree on priorities. And they surely can't stop Trump's momentum. I mean, the so-called Party of Unity is now eating itself alive, live on camera. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are watching this unfold. And so as they tear each other apart, the timing couldn't be worse. 2026 midterms are right around the corner, and the Civil War has already begun rewriting the Democratic power map. Schumer's collapse was just the spark. The wildfire is now spreading fast. And so while Democrats fight in the ashes of their own mess, President Trump is doing what he's always done best, which is leading from the front. Within days of ending the shutdown, Trump unleashed a flurry of America First proposals that put every working family back in focus. He rolled out his $2,000 tariff dividend plan, giving real Americans a share of the tariff revenue collected from foreign nations. He announced plans to replace Obamacare subsidies with health savings accounts, sending money directly to families instead of these bloated insurance companies. He called for investigations into big pharma and foreign-owned meatpacking plants to stop price gouging. And he even proposed 50-year mortgages. Now, this is a bold idea to make homeownership possible again for young buyers crushed by interest rates. Every one of these policies drives a knife deeper and deeper into the heart of the Democratic establishment narrative, because Trump isn't just talking economics. He's redefining patriotism as prosperity. So while Democrats argue over pronouns and power, Trump's out here giving Americans paychecks, peace of mind, and a future. You know it's bad when even the liberal media starts eating their own, right? Now, for years, Chuck Schumer could count on CNN, MSNBC, and late-night hosts to clean up his mess. But not this time. In fact, the meltdown was just too big to spin. It was too public to hide and too humiliating to deny. Even The Daily Show's Jon Stewart, a man who's carried the water for Democrats for decades, called Schumer's surrender a world-class collapse. CNN panels now sound like therapy sessions for the heartbroken left. MSNBC hosts are literally asking, who's in charge of this party anymore? I mean, and liberal columnists, the same ones who defended every blunder from Russiagate to Afghanistan, are now demanding Schumer resign. Social media is no better. Democratic voters are flooding comment sections, accusing Schumer of being weak, out of touch, and past his expiration date. The echo chamber cracked. Their own loyal media class can't even defend the indefensible anymore. And this is poetic justice. After years of gaslighting America, the machine that once protected the Democrats is now turning its knives inward. Now, for the first time in a very long time, the truth slipped through their filter, and it's devastating for them. So where does this leave us now? Well, Schumer's career is effectively over. I mean, his own senators betrayed him, his base despises him, and his donors are already moving on to the next puppet. But this isn't just Schumer's ending. This is the beginning of a Democrat collapse that's going to echo all the way through 2026. Now, this shutdown didn't just expose a tactical failure, it exposed a moral one. The Democrats have no vision, no unity, and no leader that's strong enough to stand up against Trump's America First movement. Meanwhile, Trump's approval rating is surging. His $2,000 tariff dividend plan has blue-collar America fired up again. He's building trust, not with elites, but with everyday people who are tired of being forgotten. And as Democrats spiral further and further into chaos, Trump stands exactly where he's always been, on the side of the American worker. Mark my words, guys, this wasn't just a shutdown. This was a shutdown of the Democratic Party itself. And in the ashes, only one man is still standing tall. President Donald J. Trump. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.